Lewis Ferguson, once a fresh-faced Hamilton Accies youth player, now one of the most sought-after midfielders in the Serie A. 9 years ago, he was making his professional debut in the Challenge Cup versus Cumbernauld Coles. This year, he was lifting the Coppa Italia for Bologna, the first Scottish player to do so since Graham Souness in 1985. Talented young players coming out of Scotland are hard to come by, especially in recent years. A study done by Transfermarkt in 2024 found that only 3.2% of total league minutes were given to players under the age of 21 in Scotland that season, a far cry from the 11.8% given to players in the Belgian league. Much has been said about the likes of Lennon Miller, but what other young talent is playing in Scotland today? I've got one from each Scottish Premiership club, including a few honourable mentions. Let me know who you think your club's best young player is in the comments below. First up we have Aberdeen, and 19-year-old striker Alfie Bavidge. Alfie was born on the 11th of April 2006 and has been part of the youth setup at Aberdeen since the age of 8, signing from Dice Boys Club. The Bavidge family tree goes back 2 generations in Scottish football, with Dad Martin, a prolific striker at Peterhead, and grandfather Mitch featuring for Dundee, Elgin and Raith. One Dundee fan gave a glowing review of Mitch in a BBC article in 2023, naming him as the club's worst ever signing. Alfie broke through to the Aberdeen first team in February of 2023, coming off the bench in a 3-1 win against Motherwell. He played a further 4 times that season before going on loan to Celtic Hearts the following campaign. The young striker impressed, scoring 9 goals and 26 appearances, while also helping the Aberdeen under-18s win the league title and reach the final of the Scottish Youth Cup. A loan at Championship side Ayr United followed, but he only lasted 6 months there before heading north to Inverness. I don't blame him, Ayr Town Centre's a shithole. Alfie found his goal scoring touch again in the Highlands, netting 6 times in 10 games to help save the club from relegation. Other young talents in the Aberdeen setup include midfielder Fletcher Boyd, who scored 2 goals in his first 2 appearances for the Dons, and centre-back Lewis Carroll. Hang on a minute, is he no deed? Next up we have Celtic, and Belgian midfielder Arne Engels. This one's a bit of a cheat code, as unlike most players on this list, Celtic didn't develop Arne through the youth system. They bought him for 11 million quid. Engels was born on the 8th of September 2003 and began his footballing career at Club Brugge in his homeland. He played 35 times for the reserve side before being bought by Augsburg on the 3rd of January 2023 for a reported €100,000. He must have had an absolutely amazing season to be worth over 100 times that 1 year later then, right? 3 goals and 5 assists in 33 games. Totally worth the money. His stats at Celtic have been quite a bit better to be fair, scoring 10 times and grabbing 13 assists. Pretty decent for a 21-year-old. Let's have a look through the goals, shall we? Penalty, 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 and penalty. Jokes aside, Arne is clearly a very talented young player, but it's no surprise that such a high transfer fee brings a lot more scrutiny and judgment, which thankfully isn't the case for young Celtic stars Mitchell Robertson, captain of the club's B team, and Kyle Ewer, who I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more of in the next few years. Next up is Dundee, and their 21-year-old centre-back Luke Graham. Luke was born on the 11th of February 2004 in the medieval town of Scone. The young defender was part of the St Johnstone setup as a kid, but left after falling out with the coaches. Later that year, Dundee came calling and Luke hasn't looked back since. It was reported in April of 2022 that Arsenal were among a host of English clubs keeping an eye on the young D, while he was on loan at Lochee United. He was even handed a week-long trial at English Championship side Sheffield United, but decided instead to sign an extended contract with Dundee. It took a while for Luke to break through to the first team however, enjoying loan spells with Albion Rovers, Montrose and most recently, Scottish Championship winners Falkirk. But it looks like this season could be the one for Graham, after making his first appearances for the club last year. Strangely enough, 2 of Luke's 3 Scottish Premiership appearances have come in the club's biggest games of the season, against city rivals Dundee United. Talk about a baptism of fire. Aside from Luke, Dundee have a number of other young talents come through their youth sides. Ethan Crombie, the first ever player to sign a professional contract with Dundee through the Performance School, and Warren Lyle, who first appeared for Dundee's under-18s at the age of 14. Both helped their side reach the Scottish Youth Cup final last season, where they lost out to Kilmarnock. Staying in the city of discovery, we have rivals Dundee United, and their 19-year-old centre-back, Samuel Cleo Harden. Sam was born on the 26th of March 2006 and has been with the Dundee United Academy from the age of 7. Cleo Harden suffered a heartbreaking ACL injury in 2022, threatening to put a stop to his career before it even started. Thankfully he recovered well and featured for Dundee United in pre-season friendlies at the start of last season. A 6-month loan spell at Celtic Hearts earned him a lot of experience, and a ton of praise to go with it, as the club kept 6 clean sheets from his 15 outings. Sam netted his first goal for his boyhood heroes in his 3rd Scottish Premiership appearance, rising above James Tavernier and John Souttar to nod home from a corner against Rangers. His side ended up losing 3-1, but that moment will live long in memory for Sam. Other young stars currently in the Dundee United setup include striker Owen Sturton, who scored 9 goals in 15 games at Montrose, and goalkeeper Rory Adams, who was also on loan at Kelty Hearts last year. Fucking hell, has anyone not been on loan at Kelty Hearts? Next up we have Falkirk, and their 21-year-old defender turned midfielder Finn Yates. Finn was born on the 19th of April 2004 and came through the Aberdeen youth team before joining Falkirk in 2022. Although starting as a right back in his debut season, Finn has transitioned into more of a central midfielder following the signing of Keelan Adams from Cumbernauld Coles in 2024. Yates may not have appeared as much as he'd hoped for Falkirk last season, but he got a goal against Celtic to his name, scoring in the League Cup tie in September. He'll be hoping to add to that tally this season. Aside from Finn, Falkirk don't have the greatest of youth systems to call upon. In fact, up until May this year, they didn't have one whatsoever. The club scrapped their academy back in 2017 as they were up creek without a paddle, opting instead for the Brentford model of investing all their resources into the first team to try and produce quick results on the pitch. Their aim was to gain promotion back to the Premiership from the 2nd tier, where they were at the time. They got relegated the following season. Talk about quick results. The other young talent they do have to call upon are striker Barney Stewart, signed from Heriot-Watt University, and young goalkeeper Owen Hayward, who played 1 game for Dumbarton last season, conceding 5 goals. Poor guy. Next we have Hearts, and their 18-year-old striker James Wilson. James was born on the 6th of March 2007 and joined the Hearts youth setup at an early age. He made his first appearance for the club's B team in 2023 at the age of 16. Fast forward 2 years and he's playing for the Scotland national team, becoming the country's youngest ever player. This isn't the only memento James has got in his short career, becoming the UEFA Conference League's youngest ever goal scorer and Hearts' youngest ever goal scorer in any European fixture, when he scored against Petroclub in December. Just mentioning that club's name must send shivers down the spine of every Hearts fan. Neil Critchley's finest hour. Other than James, Hearts have got a fair few decent young players in their ranks. Right back Adam Forrester and centre midfielder Aidan Denham have both travelled with Derek McInnes's No Look squad on their pre-season camp in Spain. Knowing McInnes, he'll have him playing at centre back and left wing. Staying in Edinburgh we have Hibs and their 19-year-old attacking midfielder Rudy Molotnikov. Now I know what you're thinking, with a name like that, Rudy's got to be from some Eastern European country, right? Nope. Born and bred in Scotland, and he's actually the son of TV and film director Justin Molotnikov, who's directed shows such as Doctor Who, Shameless, and everyone's favourite, Shoebox Sue. Yeah, me neither. Rudy was born on the 23rd of May 2006 and started training with the Hibs Academy as young as 5 years old. He signed his first professional contract in 2022 and travelled with the squad on a pre-season tour the following campaign. Rudy made the matchday squad for the first time in July 2023 against Interclub de Scald of Andorra in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers. Hibs must have absolutely humped them, right? There's no chance some minnows from Andorra could hold their own against Hibernian FC of Scotland. Oh god, not another one. The Edinburgh Club's fans are going to hate me as much as Rangers fans after this. Rudy made his debut for Hibs against Aston Villa the following month, but didn't appear too much after, instead being loaned out to Stirling Albion for the rest of the season. He played a grand total of 222 minutes of football in Stirling, which was somehow enough to find himself as a starting left midfielder for Hibs at the beginning of last season. Rudy found game time harder to come by as the season progressed, however, but he'll be looking to make a name for himself again this campaign. As well, right back Rory Whittaker, who himself has had a decent taste of first team football in Leith, and rookie striker Dean Cleland, who by my estimation scored a whopping 47 goals last season for Hibs under-18s, firing them to the league title and nabbing himself the club's Young Player of the Year. Moving over to Kilmarnock, we have 20-year-old midfielder David Watson. David was born on the 12th of February 2005 and has been training with the club since the age of 7, signing his first professional contract on the 3rd of September 2021, while Kelly were in the Championship. Watson then made his first appearance 1 day later in the Challenge Cup versus Falkirk. He didn't feature again that season though, next appearing in the League Cup group stages the following year. Kelly were having a tough campaign back in the Premiership, finding themselves fighting for relegation, but the emergence of Watson in March gave him a new lease of life, helping confirm league survival in the last day of the season against Ross County. The next campaign was David's real breakthrough though, with him becoming a mainstay in the midfield, scoring a few wonder goals along the way. He finished the season as the league's Young Player of the Year, as Kilmarnock qualified for the Europa League. David followed up an outstanding season by scoring his first goal on a European stage, heading home against Cercle Bruges in July last year. Although Watson and Kelly didn't have the greatest of success last season, the energetic midfielder added another wonder goal to his highlight reel, scoring a scissor kick against Dundee United. This boy doesn't do tap-ins. Kelly are another club with a lot of talent in their youth team. finishing 4th in the Under-18s League and winning the Scottish Youth Cup. One such talent is right back Ben Brannan, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Inverness. He's joined by Cole Burke, son of Killie's Under-18s manager and Scottish football icon Chris Burke. Give it 5 years and he'll be in the Scotland squad. You heard it here first. Next up we have Livingston, who returned to the Premiership at the first time of asking through the playoffs, and their young centre midfielder Dylan Mockin. Dylan was born in 2007 and joined Livingston's Youth Academy in 2024, signing from Cambuslang side Drumsagard FC. Although Mockin plays mainly as a number 6, he's a bit of a prolific goal scorer, earning himself the nickname Goal Machine on the Livingston Under-18's Twitter page. The youngster managed to score an incredible 21 goals for the youth team last season, even chipping in now and again for the Livingston reserves. It's only a matter of time before he's scoring wonder goals like this for the first team. Other young talents in the Livy Academy include striker Tommy North, who trained with the Scotland Under-19s in May, and goalkeeper Evan Miles, who featured for the Livy reserves on a number of occasions this season, at just 16 years old. Next up we have Motherwell, and this is probably the most obvious name on the list. Unbelievably talented playmaker, midfield maestro, heart of a lion, one of the most sought after players in the country, Andy Halliday. Lennon Miller. Lennon was born on the 25th of August 2006 and joined Motherwell's academy at the age of 7, making his debut against Inverness in 2022, a mere 6 days after his 16th birthday, becoming the club's youngest ever player. He was the talk of the town at the start of the following season, scoring his first goal for the club against Elgin City in the League Cup group stages. After an impressive start to the season, shit hit the fan, with Lennon breaking his kneecap against Aberdeen in November of 2023. This kept him sidelined for almost 3 months, and although his form picked up again towards the end of the season, it wasn't quite enough to sneak through the league's Young Player of the Year, losing out to the aforementioned David Watson. Lennon was to get his own back last season though, winning the accolade himself after a string of impressive performances. The Tartan Army were calling for it and it finally happened. Lennon got called up to the national team for the first time in March of 2025 for the playoffs versus Greece, and again in May for the friendlies against Iceland and Liechtenstein, where he made his Scotland debut and got his first Scotland start. Although this was his first involvement in the men's squad, Lennon was no stranger to the Scotland kit. His talent was evident from as young as 14 years of age when he made his debut for the Scotland Under-17s. Not only did he make his debut, he even scored his first goal, an unbelievable strike from kick-off, against the old enemy as well. At Motherwell, Lennon isn't the only talented young player coming through the ranks. Left-back Ewan Wilson also featured prominently throughout last season, and attacker Luca Ross nicked a last-minute goal on his Falkirk Park debut back in 2023. Speaking of Motherwell, next up we have Rangers and their 18-year-old former Motherwell midfielder, Bailey Rice. If he'd played his cards right, Bailey could have been playing at Falkirk Park alongside Lennon right now. Instead, he's getting splinters on the Rangers bench. Bailey was born on the 4th of October 2006 and joined Rangers from Motherwell in 2022. He made his debut for the club that season against Livingston, aged 16 years and 137 days, becoming the club's youngest post-war league player. Not very hard when they were formed in 2012, mind you. After that novelty appearance, Bailey was chucked to the B team to play in the Lowland League. He fought his way back to the first team last season, however, managing 12 appearances in all, including featuring in each of the last 5 games of the campaign. Bailey will be hoping this is a good omen going forwards, as he's openly stated he doesn't just want to be a squad player. Other young talents at Rangers include forgotten centre-back Leon King, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Queen's Park, and young goalkeeper Mason Munn, who made his Rangers debut in the Scottish Cup versus Fraserburgh last season. With Flapjack and Liam Kelly being his main competition for the number 1 shirt, it won't be too long before you see his name between his 6 at Ibrox. Last but not least we have St Mirren, and their young attacking midfielder Fraser Taylor. Fraser may be the oldest player on this list at 22 years old, but I really think he can impress in Paisley this season, so I had no choice but to include him. Fraser was born on the 20th of February 2003 and joined the youth setup at St Mirren at an early age. After a rather uninspiring couple of loan spells at Cumbernauld Colts and Ballymena United, Taylor joined Arbroath last season. It's a bit of a last chance saloon. He grabbed that chance with both hands though, netting 7 times and getting 14 assists, earning himself the PFA League 1 Player of the Year, and he'll be hoping to emulate those stats in Paisley this season. He's not the only youngster at St Mirren looking to impress. The under-18 side that finished 3rd last season are full of talent. None other than the club's Young Player of the Year, Evan Mooney, and Scotland Under-16s international, Luke Douglas. That's it for this video. Thanks to anyone that made it this far. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and leave a comment. Maybe even subscribe. Click here to continue watching more of my content. Thank you.